At 5 o'clock every morning, while the entire neighborhood was still asleep, a man named Daniel was already awake. He quietly walked into the kitchen. He didn't turn on the bright lights. He didn't want to wake his daughter. He opened the refrigerator and looked inside. There wasn't much food left. A few eggs. Some bread. And a small bottle of milk. Daniel smiled to himself. "That's enough," he whispered. He made breakfast, packed a small lunchbox, and prepared a cup of tea for himself. Then he walked into his daughter's room. Lily. The little girl slowly opened her eyes. "Good morning, Daddy." Daniel smiled. "Good morning, Princess." Lily stretched her arms toward him. Daniel picked her up and hugged her. For a few seconds, he forgot how tired he was. He forgot about the unpaid bills. He forgot about the long hours at work. All he could think about was his daughter. Lily was 8 years old. And Daniel had been raising her alone since she was 5. Her mother had passed away after a long illness. The day she died, Daniel had promised her one thing. "I'll take care of Lily." And he kept that promise every single day. Daniel worked at a small auto repair shop during the day. After his shift ended, he delivered food until late at night. Sometimes he came home after midnight. Sometimes his back hurt so badly that he could barely climb the stairs. But every morning at 5 o'clock, he got up again. Because Lily needed him. One morning, while they were having breakfast, Lily looked at her father carefully. "Daddy?" "Yes, sweetheart." "Are you tired?" Daniel smiled. "A little." "You always say that." Daniel laughed. "Maybe I'm getting old." Lily smiled. "You're not old." Then she suddenly became serious. "Daddy, are you happy?" Daniel stopped eating. He looked at his daughter. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. Then he smiled. "Yes." "Really?" Daniel reached across the table and held her little hand. "Yes, Lily." "Why?" He smiled. "Because I have you." Lily jumped from her chair and hugged him. Daniel closed his eyes. He knew life was difficult. But he also knew he had something worth fighting for. A few months later, Lily came home from school carrying a piece of paper. "Daddy. Look." Daniel took it. It was a school trip. Lily wanted to visit a science museum with her classmates. The trip cost $80. Daniel looked at the paper. $80. For some people, it was nothing. For Daniel, it was almost a week's groceries. Lily noticed his silence. "It's okay, Daddy." Daniel looked at her. "We don't have to go." "No." He smiled. "You're going. But you look worried." Daniel folded the paper. "Don't worry about me." That night, Daniel counted every dollar he had. It wasn't enough. So he took an extra shift. The next night, another one. For 3 nights, Daniel barely slept. Finally, he had enough money. He put the money inside an envelope. The next morning, he placed it on Lily's table. When Lily saw it, her eyes became bright. "Daddy. You did it." Daniel smiled. "Of course I did." She hugged him. "Thank you." Daniel hugged her back. But Lily didn't know something. That morning, Daniel had no money left for his own breakfast. And he didn't tell her. The day of the school trip finally arrived. All the children were standing outside the school. Parents were taking pictures. Mothers were fixing their children's hair. Fathers were carrying bags. Lily stood near the school bus. She kept looking toward the road. Then she saw him. Daniel was running toward the school. He was still wearing his dirty mechanic uniform. His hands were covered in grease. He had come directly from work. Lily's face lit up. "Daddy!" She ran toward him. Daniel opened his arms. Lily jumped into them. "You came." Daniel smiled. "I told you I would." One of Lily's classmates looked at Daniel. "Where's your mom?" Lily became quiet. Daniel gently put his hand on her shoulder. "Families can look different," he said. "But love is what makes a family." Lily looked at her father. Then she held his hand tightly. That evening, Daniel came home exhausted. He opened the front door. The house was quiet. He found Lily asleep on the sofa. Beside her was a drawing. Daniel picked it up. It was a picture of a little girl holding her father's hand. Above them were the words, "My dad is my hero." Daniel stared at the picture. His eyes filled with tears. He carefully carried Lily to her bedroom. He placed her under the blanket. Then he sat beside her. For the first time that day, he allowed himself to cry. Suddenly, Lily opened her eyes. "Daddy?" Daniel quickly wiped his face. "Yes, sweetheart." "Are you crying?" "No." She looked at him. "Your eyes are wet." Daniel smiled. Sometimes, even heroes get tired. Lily reached for his hand. "You don't have to be a hero all the time." Daniel couldn't hold his tears anymore. He hugged her. And Lily whispered, "I'm here, Daddy." Then one morning, Daniel's life changed again. The auto repair shop closed. He lost his job. He stood outside the garage holding his toolbox. He had rent to pay. School expenses. Electricity bills. And almost no money left. He sat in his old car. He looked at the steering wheel. For several minutes, he didn't move. Then he looked at Lily's photograph on the dashboard. He took a deep breath. No. He wiped his face. "I can't give up." The next morning, he started looking for work. Garage after garage. Business after business. He heard the same words again and again. "Sorry, we're not hiring." But Daniel kept going. Because every evening, when he came home, Lily was waiting for him. And he refused to let her see him lose hope. One night, Lily woke up. She heard her father talking on the phone. "Please, sir. I'll do any work." There was silence. Daniel lowered his head. "I understand." He ended the call. Lily stood in the hallway. "Daddy?" Daniel turned around. "Lily, why are you awake? Did you lose your job?" Daniel didn't answer. Lily's eyes filled with tears. "Are we going to lose our home?" Daniel immediately hugged her. "No, sweetheart. But you're worried." Daniel took a deep breath. "Yes." He looked into her eyes. "I'm worried. But being worried doesn't mean we give up." Lily wiped her tears. "Then we'll fight together." Daniel smiled. "Together?" Lily nodded. "Together." The next morning, Daniel made a decision. He knew how to repair cars. He had spent years learning everything about engines. So he rented a tiny garage. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't big. There were no expensive machines. Just an old toolbox, a small workbench, and one broken sign. Daniel painted the sign himself. Daniel's Auto Repair. For the first few days. Nobody came. 1 day. 2 days. 3 days. Nothing. But Daniel opened the garage every morning. On the 4th day, an old man brought him a broken car. "Can you fix it?" Daniel smiled. "I'll try." He worked for hours. Finally, the engine started. The old man smiled. You're good. Daniel thanked him. The man told his friends. Then another customer came. Then another. Slowly, Daniel's little garage began to grow. And Lily was always there after school. She would sit at the workbench and do her homework. Sometimes she handed her father tools. Sometimes they shared dinner in the garage. Their life wasn't perfect. But they were together. And that was enough. 10 years passed. Lily grew up. She worked hard at school. She studied late at night. And eventually, she received a scholarship to medical school. On the night before she left for college, she sat beside her father outside the garage. Daddy? Yes. Do you remember when you lost your job? Daniel laughed. I remember. I was scared. So was I. Lily looked at him. But you never showed me. Daniel smiled. I didn't want my fear to become your fear. Lily's eyes filled with tears. Daddy. Yes. You always told me that I were your biggest responsibility. Daniel nodded. And your greatest happiness. Yes. She held his hand. But you were more than my father. Daniel looked at her. You were my whole world. Daniel smiled. Years later, Lily became a doctor. On graduation day, Daniel sat quietly in the audience. He wore his old jacket. The same jacket he had worn for years. When Lily walked across the stage, she searched through the crowd. Then she saw him. Her father. The man who had worked when he was tired. The man who had sacrificed when he had nothing. The man who had smiled when he wanted to cry. The man who never gave up. After the ceremony, Lily ran straight toward him. She hugged him. Daddy. Daniel smiled. I'm proud of you. Lily shook her head. No, Dad. She held his face. I am proud of you. Then she gave him a letter. What's this? Read it. Daniel opened the letter. It said, Dear Dad. When I was little, I thought you were strong because you never cried. But now I understand. You were strong because you cried when nobody was watching, and still woke up the next morning to take care of me. You taught me that love isn't always about big words. Sometimes love is waking up at 5 a.m. Sometimes love is working one more shift. Sometimes love is giving your child the last piece of food and saying, I'm not hungry. You didn't have much money. But you gave me something more valuable. You gave me hope. You gave me courage. You gave me a future. Dad, you didn't just raise me. You taught me how to live. Daniel finished reading. Tears rolled down his face. He looked at Lily. I only wanted you to have a better life than mine. Lily hugged him tightly. You gave me the best life anyone could have given me. Daniel closed his eyes. For years, he had believed that he was raising his daughter alone. But standing there with Lily in his arms, he finally understood something. He had never been alone. Every sleepless night had a purpose. Every sacrifice had a reason. Every difficult morning had led to this moment. His little girl had grown up. She had become strong. She had become successful. And most importantly, she had never forgotten the man who gave everything for her. The man who never gave up. The man she called Dad. And sometimes, the greatest heroes don't wear uniforms. Sometimes, they simply wake up every morning. Go to work. Hide their pain. And make sure their children never stop believing in tomorrow. That was Daniel. A single dad. A tired man. A loving father. And to one little girl. The greatest hero in the world. The end.